Let's just make magic. No?
Absolutely.
I was just looking to pump everyone up.
Pump, 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 pump it up. I can't hear myself.
Trust me, it's better that way.
Get Into Gates. This is episode 75. We're talking Stargate SG-1. We are the Get Into Gate team. My name is Mitch. Joining me, as always, the full team. Matty Gibson.
What's up?
Brendan Gibson.
Hello.
And Rhys Gibson.
Yeah, g'day guys.
Now, you were just laughing about something there, Rhys. Would you like to share with the class?
Yeah, I just found
Read the note.
I just... Don't call my mum. I just found a pen on the table here, and I've just held it up to Brendan, and on the pen, it just says... You're a twat.
Yeah.
So
Positive thinking.
we'll take a photo of that and chuck it up on the socials.
What else is boring?
No caption, obviously. So if there's someone out there that's never heard the podcast and just stumbles across our socials, just sees a picture that says you're a twat.
Yeah. Good call, actually.
And if everyone just wants to jump on any and all of the socials and just send Brendan a message, call it saying you're a twat,
yeah.
that'd be great.
Sure.
Yeah, if you haven't already.
You might
I already got 10 of them, but
Your wife says it to
Proceed.
you every night before you go to bed.
yeah. She says you're an asshole.
And shuts the door to the
Oh,
spare
that's right,
bedroom.
Yeah.
She's not European, she's Eastern European, so she wouldn't be using twat. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
No.
I kind of say it to Brendan every year on his birthday, except on Facebook, it's just happy birthday.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's a family tradition.
Yeah, we're normal, our family. Anyway, good to be here, boys.
Oh,
Yeah,
bloody
good
good
to
to
see
be
you.
here. So we're here to talk about a little old episode called
Scorched Earth, motherfucker!
If you're joining the show for the first time, look, we're just going to go back through.
Why
look
did you
at
choose Scorched Earth?
Well, sure.
Well-
But
Hang on. It's good.
Mate, I didn't say it wasn't.
Whoa.
It's just, you
Matty.
know.
you've been put in your place now, buddy.
I mean, if I was a fan of Stargate and I was going to jump on a podcast, I don't know if Scorched Earth would be the first one I'd go, yeah.
Unless this is the most recent podcast that we've released, and then...
Oh, don't apply, intelligent logic to this. Come on now.
That's not what we're about, mate.
Scorched Earth comes out. I'll scroll down. Got something good. Window of opportunity. Sweet.
Ooh, Origins. What's this?
Why is this audio repeating?
That got me. I had no idea we were doing that. That totally got me.
Genius
Last minute.
of the edits. Okay, so yeah, well, if you are joining us for the first time, we're a couple of old school Stargate fans and one new fan. So we're a bit of a nostalgic view, bit of a fresh take, 20 years on from the show being made. And we go back to the old physical format DVD synopsis to kick off the episode. And this week, it has in store for us, after relocating an endangered civilization to a safe new planet, the team realizes that another race of aliens is planning to incinerate the planet's surface to make it inhabitable for their own race. Will SG-1 be able to reason with the marauding aliens, or will their plans for interplanetary I knew I was going to struggle with those two words put together. Diplomacy go up in flames.
You could have reset it, but much like the rest of this podcast, we don't really care.
Nope.
Correct.
Scorched Earth. Go on, Rhys.
Yeah, Matty set it up really well. He clearly loves this
Doesn't
episode.
like it.
No, I do. I just...
Okay, based off that, because I think when we're heading towards the end of season 3, getting into season 4, and you said, all right, Rhys, for the next season, it's basically just all gold, except for 1 or 2 hiccups.
Yeah.
Entity, I think he said.
Right.
Entity, the light,
Yeah.
and I might be sick next week. We don't know. Well, I'll see how we go.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
But no,
Oh, really?
Scorched Earth is good. It's just if I was going to start a new podcast, I wouldn't start at Scorched Earth. That's
Fair
all,
enough.
You know.
Reese, would you be starting with Scorched Earth?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind rewatching this. I like that little, what's his name? Zotan.
Zoltan, yeah.
Yeah, no, I really like the implications of it, where it was two different races having the same predicament, trying to gain the same outcome on the same planet. And the arguments, obviously we had O'Neill and Jackson again arguing 2 and 4, or 4 and against. I just really like the dynamic of it. I really enjoyed it.
I found myself in my head doing my own little pro-con list.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, the Ankarans, they're alive and they're already there. But technically, the other, Lotan and his ship, they were actually there first. It's he scouted the planet, no life. He snuck around to the other side of the planet to start the process, comes back around and go, what are these f***ers doing here? And then it's like, okay, well, he could stop and then find a different planet, but he's done billions. So it's like they've both got equal. Like that. At no point did I go one leans more toward to being more deserved than the other. I'm just like,
I always figured if he'd already started the terraform process, wouldn't the planet eventually fall into to be unlivable anyway for the Ankarans? With the amount of scorched earth, so to speak, on the other side of the planet, there's so much sulfur now in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
They couldn't live there long term anyway.
Did they try and ride around that when Carter was like looking in a microscope and when they first found it, it's like, oh no, they're like time release sulfur or some shit about how it was set to release something. It was like
no, I think because didn't Zoltan say I breathed some of the air when I was waiting for you, and it's not pleasant.
I assumed that was in the ship.
Yeah. Like he breathed it in the ship, but he said the air that's been released from the fire, the fire blanket.
Oh, was there air in there as well? Was there? I just thought it was just fire and sulfur.
Well, it probably was. He just
it's just not
labeled
breathable
it as air.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was on Jackson's side the whole time. I know Jackson was sort of looking for the outcome for both, rather than O'Neill saying, "Nah, well, let's just blow it up."
Yeah, but you're on,
we're right.
Easy.
But it wasn't the fact that he thought he was right. It's just the fact that he didn't want to be wrong. We brought them here, and if we don't fight for them, then we've done the wrong thing. So we need to kill this whole ancient race so that we can be right.
Yeah,
and I don't have to feel bad.
I feel like Daniel was like, let's find a resolution that helps both these people.
Yeah.
Whereas Jack's like, no, I like the Ankarans. I met them first. I'm going to blow up this other ship. Like he didn't want to do it, but he was willing to do it to save these people that he'd gotten to know.
Oh, willing to defy orders to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
one of my favorite parts of this episode is when O'Neill orders Carter to create the Naquita bomb.
Yeah.
And he looks at Daniel, and Daniel looks at him, and they actually don't say anything because they're both thinking in their minds, like, we're screwed either way.
Yeah. Well, that was the nice through line, I think, with Jack, is it's like the whole time he didn't want to. Like, he wasn't like, yeah, I'm going to fucking blow these bitches up because they're, threatening the Ankarans. He's just like, I think because he was so invested and they, this is what we were talking about a few weeks ago, Rhys, with Watergate. That was when they first mentioned the Ankarans, when they tried to dial the gate at the very, very start of the episode.
Oh, okay.
And they mentioned relocating the Ankarans.
I remember thinking at the start of this episode, like, do we know these people? Like,
yeah, Daniel just said, it's going to take 2 weeks to relocate the Ankarans.
Yeah. And then O'Neill was saying in this episode that, they've been working with them for months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's good.
Yeah, so I think it was just Jack was just like, I've been working with these people for so long.
I literally looked up the episode list and I'm like, did I miss one? What's going on here?
And a good thing, I guess, that they hadn't been waiting for us for one. So clearly the start of the or at least when they met these guys, took place after window of opportunity, because imagine if we'd started the process, off screen, away from, before that, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll be back next week and we'll help sort you out. 3, 4,
3
5,
months
6
later.
months pass while we keep reliving the same. We go back, these guys are all dead from radiation.
No, they're all just blind.
They're all
just
blind,
walk around bumping into each other.
We waited for you. It's like, I'm over here. Okay, we waited for you.
You're looking out the window.
I tell you what, though, at the very, very start, like the cold open, and it's like, oh, this is the first child we're going to have in this new world. We're going to name it after you, Colonel O'Neill.
Yeah.
No one had any reaction. Like, they're all just like, I think Jackson and Teal'c were kind of just like...
Try not to laugh.
They didn't even say Colonel O'Neill. They said, we're going to name it after you, Colonel. And I'm like, please name it Colonel. God, yeah. I get that you probably mean Jack, but please name it Colonel.
Yeah, what you don't know is those people's last name is Sanders, so it's just going to work out.
Colonel of the House Sanders.
Well, the rest of SG1 were just thinking, this is normal now. Everything gets named after O'Neill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Bullshit.
Carter's like, fuck you, Ankarans.
Yeah. I hope it's a girl.
She probably saved the mother from like drowning in a river or something like that. She's like, oh no, but Jack's in charge, so he gets it named after him.
Yeah.
That's what 20 minutes later when O'Neill's like, you hook up this bomb, and blow things up. She's like, well, there'll probably be some collateral damage. So hell yeah, I can hook it up. And these bitches that don't want to name anything after me. Has a Naquita bomb in your village sound.
What's the name of your baby again? Yeah, I thought so.
Right. Naquita.
Sam works for a guy or a girl, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does Jack O'Neill.
So is Colonel.
Colonel, such a pretty name for a girl.
I think the great twist for me, and where I actually thought, wow, this episode is sick, is when they all get beamed up.
Yeah.
And then the guy's actually really nice.
Yeah.
You're not expecting that.
Well, and they even play that fun, happy ergo music underneath when they first meet him. So you're instantly kind of like subconsciously just at ease. And you're like, oh, he's not a threat. He's fun. He's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that was really important because I think if they didn't set it up that Lotan wasn't a threat in terms... Well, obviously the ship is the threat. But if you thought that he was kind of conniving or had a plan within a plan within a plan or something like that...
Yeah.
You'd be against him the whole episode.
Yeah.
So I think it was really important to establish early on that he could be trustworthy.
Yeah.
And it's so that you could focus more on the moral dilemma rather
Yeah,
than,
that's true.
is this guy lying to us? So I think that was really clever the way they did that.
Yeah, and that was the thing, because I was thinking, they have to take the Incarans out because they've got more of a chance of finding another planet to live in. Because like he said, he started terraforming the planet. He can't stop. Otherwise, the whole ancient race is dead.
Yeah, like he's used up too much fuel already, like of what he's got in the ship to terraform. It's like you'd have to find a tiny little moon that would fit the, you know, and then suddenly this species doesn't have a planet big enough to actually sort of propagate the entire race out again.
So I like the whole predicament that they're in.
And I love the whole backstory as well. Like they even went into the effort of making this strange music. And the robot was
cool.
Was just like curious and trying to learn things. He's like, it doesn't really work for my ears.
I love so Daniel just wanting to be really nice, like he's just doing everything he can to get them on his side. He's like, oh, it sounds amazing. Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, no, me neither.
Maybe turn it off.
Whatever you don't like, I don't like.
If you love it, I love it. It's a hit. Top 30.
I love that SG-1 now are just happy to give away Naquadah generators.
Yeah.
Like at the start, they're like, oh yeah, the Naquadah generator we've given you should give you enough power for the next X amount of years or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just like,
to power your city for a year.
yeah.
Warm it.
Why aren't you powering the SGC off that?
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
Why don't you take it over to a little continent called Africa and help those guys out?
Yeah.
They spend $1 billion to power the SGC.
Right.
They flick over a Naquadah generator. Oop.
I think it's pronounced Nugget.
Yeah, you're right. Correct.
No, it's pronounced Naquadah!
I felt like they were going a little bit Tolan-esque when, like whenever they meet the Tolan, they're like, hey, weapons? They're like, nah, you're more primitive than us, so we're not going to give you weapons.
Yeah.
And then when the ship shows up and the Incarans say to SG-1, oh, you're going to obviously give us weapons to like help fight them off. They're like, nah, we're not going to give you weapons because you're more primitive than us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hang on a second.
because they're blind. They can't be trusted. I'm not going to give a P90 to a blind chick. Jesus.
That was the thing. That kind of pissed me off when when she goes, no, we're going to stay and fight. And he goes, and O'Neill goes, oh, okay, what are your plans? Oh, well, you'll fight for us.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to fight your war that you want to fight that you're not actually going to fight, that I'm going to die for.
He's like,
Thanks.
see that thing in the air?
Classic politician.
Yeah.
See that giant thing in the air, literally raining down death? That's 2 miles wide.
Yeah.
2 miles wide, that friggin' ship. That's like what? For us, that's like what, 4 kilometres?
Yeah, 1.6
I didn't do the
kilometres.
math.
Oh, Jesus.
1.6
Conversion.com was down last night.
6.4 Ks.
6.
Oh, what was it?
2 miles.
Oh, that'd be 3.2.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. And a 20-mile wake. So that, like, big flame of fire. It's
Yeah,
going for
right.
20 miles.
What's that, Rhys?
Oh, 32 Ks.
Yeah, so I was trying to work that out. So it was a 2-mile ship,
Anything
and
else?
it was like the width of the like the fire blast was 20 miles. Or
Yeah,
behind,
the wake.
Yeah, right. So it's going to take them a shit ton of time to like terraform that planet. Like they're just going over like mowing essentially like the entire planet.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Like they don't-
Mitch is just living the
that's your
dream.
dream, isn't it?
Oh
Mitch
my god.
loves mowing
Mitch
Mitch
lawns.
loves a mown lawn.
Imagine mowing an entire planet, Mitch.
Ugh.
From orbit.
Stop.
In a spaceship.
Stop it.
I mean, come on.
Mowing mountains. Oh,
Oh,
glorious.
God, look at that. I didn't have to go around it. I
spaceship.
did the whole thing in one. I just...
No, mate. No, you don't. No. You want like a smaller mower so you get to enjoy mowing for longer.
Oh,
No, you don't just get
Yuck.
like and a mountain gone.
Yuck. Rhys hasn't mown his lawn for about 2 years.
My lawn doesn't moan, mate.
It's actually a word.
Mowed.
Moan.
No, I know it's a word. Just doesn't fit where you're trying to use it.
Okay. If you say so.
But yeah,
Mate,
my
he's
backyard's
obvious-
a jungle.
Math is his thing, okay? Not English, you know.
And he's asking me the math questions.
Look it up.
Oh, mate, if you need to look up moaning, you obviously haven't heard it in a while.
I thought that was obvious.
Was he
I'm married.
He's hanging out with us so much. And me too, actually, if anything. Why is
So
there always the
apparent-
married guys that are trying to organise these recordings? Yeah, what was that with Daniel? Like, I felt like he was, you know, he was trying to do a good thing, but it was like trying to convince a child that you were right in a way. Like when he's going up,
He was on fire. Like, he was at his
Yeah.
Oh,
best.
yeah.
Just,
you know, he's going up.
Giving it.
I keep going to call him Tolan, but it's Lotan, isn't it? It's like just switch around
Yeah.
of the letters essentially.
Zoltan.
Zoltan.
Yes, totally.
And he takes him down the planet, and he's like, "Oh yeah, how about these people?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I love these people." He's like, "Oh, you know, they're your people, you know." And oh, the air, it's not good for them. He goes, "Well, the air is not good for you because you're one of them, you know." And then like he would then suggest things, Lotan, that he liked. He goes, "Well, yeah, I guess that's because you're just like them, you know." So. I'm not going to change my mind. No, I'm not suggesting you change your mind, but just maybe hang out with them longer until you do. Until
You
what? Nothing? No.
you're more like these people that you've just met than, you know, the race that created you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated the
Was
whole
very-
backflip that the Karens did at the end. When they're like, kill the guy, kill him, murder him, blow up his ship. And then he comes down, they're like, oh, you're one of us. Like, stay with us. Well, no, you just wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
Like,
And then it's like, oh,
just...
you found a homeworld. Okay, you can have this piece of shit planet then.
Yeah.
We don't want to build shit. It's already done. Okay, all right, let's go home.
It was lucky that Zoltan didn't think of finding them a new planet first up.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was pissed off at SG1, like when because he said pretty early on in their meetings that they had scanned so many planets, and I'm like, oh, and in my mind again because I haven't watched this episode in so many years, I'm like, oh yeah, why do they? I wonder, not ask him to
Find
maybe
them,
try
though.
and find a compromise by finding the Inkarans another planet, and then right at the end they're like, oh gee, he would have come to that eventually, and I'm like, what about you? Like
Yeah.
Daniel's like, he's a day and a half old, and I'm like, yeah, but you're not. Like, why the fuck didn't you were trying to look for me as a viewer, and I'm like, he goes, oh, I've scanned all these planets. I'm like, oh, maybe ask him now. 27 minutes more worth of story time, and I'm like,
Meanwhile, he's killed 3,000 Karens already.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, it's something that, like, Carter would have thought of straight away.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that just seems like her being the scientist of the group. She would have just been like, oh, well, here's the other option.
Yeah.
Maybe she was just too preoccupied with Jack just being like, oh, make me a bomb, please.
Yeah.
See this
Ooh,
wonderful,
yes.
see this wonderful science she worked on with that little girl that can just, like, you know, run her entire planet for centuries. Turn it into a bomb, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, that's rough.
Do you reckon when they scan... He said, I'm created based on a scan of the people who are living on the planet.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's after he kind of fax machine scanned them in...
Oh, Jesus.
Like he annihilated them and that's how he got the...
Yeah, like
Scan?
he would have had to have beamed one of them up, right?
That's what I was just... Because every time I think of it, every time I watch this, I think he's annihilated that village and so he's scanned them as he was destroying them.
Oh, he did say, oh, they disappeared, and Jackson's like, yeah, they ran away.
Yeah, okay. So you don't... Do you reckon that he killed any of them?
Nah.
I reckon yes, but
Probably
for the PG rating, no.
The dude with the one leg or something from Core
I don't reckon he would have intentionally, like, beamed someone up and, like, dissected them so that they could make him or anything like that.
No.
Because that race
I was just thinking if they're in the way and the ship mowed them down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If he didn't know.
I'm just going to
I
start
mean,
swinging my arms. If you walk in my path, it's your own fault.
I mean, he didn't detect the giant friggin' Nakwita bomb about to go off until it was right underneath him.
Yeah.
So it's like, if he can't detect that massive energy source, there's no way he's detecting, like, a human life sign.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way. No way at all.
But he beamed up the SG-1 from like 4 kilometers away.
Yeah, he seemed to know
Yeah.
that. He was like, oh, they're different. Okay, I'll take them.
Yeah, I mean,
Why?
like he did say the ship scanned them. So
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so I've got this entire race of Nkarans here. Then there's 4 others that are different, or 3 and 1 that are different.
yeah,
They must speak for the Nkarans. I'll beam them up.
Yeah.
yeah.
So they can make the
they're
decision.
closest.
Yeah. I kind of wished
Costs me less money.
I kind of wish the old lady, like, at the end when she kind of felt Lotan's face, she's like, oh, you're one of us. I kind of wanted to go, oh, you have such and such's nose and such, because he was supposed to be a
He's a
combination.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have my brother-in-law's nose. Oh, okay. Apparently, Richard Dean Anderson, though, had a bit of issue with this episode in that he found it really hard to actually sell Jack's whole plot through, because he didn't agree. As Richard Dean Anderson, he couldn't get behind what Jack was doing. So,
well, that's the point of being a fucking actor.
So apparently, yeah, he found it really hard, and I think that
His method, mate.
yeah, he wouldn't let off a bomb on another planet just to know how it feels. But yeah, I think that really played in well to his like hesitance. Like there was this through line with him. He was hesitant the entire way through, like not wanting to do it, but willing to do something really, really horrible to save the Incarans. So I kind of liked it, because I think in the other side, he was really nasty to Daniel when Daniel was kind of bringing up, you know, things that Jack didn't agree with. But here it's like, except for when he gets really angry when he's like, tell me Daniel's not on that ship. Like he gets really angry there. But other than that, I feel like Jack was kind of really responsive, and he's like, well, if you give me another answer, like give me another option and I'll do it.
Yeah.
And to me, it was a really nice metaphor for like the whole abortion debate. It's like you've got these people that are alive here versus this entire ship full of life forms that aren't technically alive, but they have the potential to be alive. So it's like, what life do you give more value to?
Yeah.
You know, in that weird cosmic balance sheet of, you know. So because
that was the other
really
thing when Jackson was on the ship, and he's like, and O'Neill's thinking, oh, do I blow it up? Do I not blow it up now? And I'm thinking, that's the most thought he's given to killing someone or not killing someone. So he's basically given more validation or more value to Jackson's life than any one of those lives or those ancient lives.
That entire life civilization.
But I really brought into Jack O'Neill's side of things, because I saw the underlying factor of him thinking to himself, like, I'm doing this because I don't want to be wrong, not necessarily because I think it's right. But I don't want the weight on my shoulders for the rest of my life, knowing that these Incarans are dead because I brought them here and they weren't willing to go back home.
Yeah, and Jack's not one to give up. He's like, if I can do something, I will do something. I'm not just gonna stand back and let this, you know, giant fire lawnmower just, you know, wipe out these people that I've, you know. And to be fair, like they did say at the start, they were like, well, let's just pack up and get the fuck out of here. Let's go. Like he even said, look, we can't save all you people, but your village is right next to the Stargate. Let's pack up and get the hell out of here. And she's like, no, I won't abandon my people. Yeah, we've had enough. The line must be drawn here, this far, no further. So it kind of backed him into a corner. He's like, well, I've made this promise to these people to, you know, help them prosper and you know, because they were victims of the Gould. So it's like, well, let's, you know, I really liked it. I really liked the
Yeah, what was the backstory?
I think basically the homeworld at the end, the Incarans, there was a whole bunch of them taken off-world and used as slaves, and then much like every other human in the galaxy was used as a gold slave. And
well, in the same way, they talk about like our history, saying that Earth was where they got the first human slaves from to populate the world, populate the universe.
They've done that to the Incarans' original homeworld, and now they've found their Tari, so to speak, and now they're going back.
Original,
But I was just thinking, are they welcome back? Because how many people they bring? They're like refugees, and if they're anything like this country, look out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Jesus.
Imagine that, like,
or most countries in this world.
Yeah, true. There's a lot of fan fiction novels, or not fan fiction. A lot of them are canon. I would have actually been quite interested in a novel after this episode. Like you did one after The Other Side, and I thought this would be a better novel. Maybe SG1's probably not in it, but I reckon that'd be kind of interesting if they go back to the Incarans' homeworld, the politics between them coming back and then introducing the robot, who would be a lot like Data from the Next Generation in terms of he'd be so strange because they didn't even understand him.
Yeah.
He goes, that doesn't go against my programming, and he's like, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
Daniel's like, that means thank you. Yes, that'd be good.
Yeah.
The thing I found interesting is they seem to be. I mean, it's hard to tell, but they seemed like they were quite a primitive race. Like with the Ankaran group. I mean, yes, they were kind of just at this planet and they were building their town and all that sort of stuff. but they didn't seem overly technologically advanced.
Well, not even that. I feel like they made them like idiots. Like they weren't even just primitive. They actually made them sound like idiots.
Well,
like I found myself getting angry at the was like basically the chief's her son. You know, the soon-to-be father.
The guy from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. I thought I recognised.
He's in Smallville.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
And he's like, "How do you said this? We trusted you. You said this was safe." It's like, don't you understand what happened? Like when we brought you here,
we didn't know.
We
dude.
didn't know about that. That like, and we'll bring them down, and those bad guys will say, or bad guys in our mind because they're about to kill us. They will also say you weren't here when they started. Like it's really nobody's fault here, and I feel like you understood that at the start, but we needed you to be angry at the end. And I'm like, they just made them seem like
But
stupid.
what I found really interesting is normally when we encounter races, if they're less technologically advanced than we are, they tend to be more superstitious and believe in the gods and all that sort of stuff.
Who would have thought?
And the more technologically advanced they are, and the smarter they are, they realize religion's not a thing. But I found it interesting that these guys who seem quite technologically low were totally down. Like it was part of their history. They knew that they were refugees from another planet.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
had no problem with dealing with SG-1 or moving planets and all that sort of stuff. Flip side of that being like going back to the end of last season with New Ground, where it's like this race is at war and they've got force fields and hover ships and weed whacker laser guns and all that sort of stuff. But they were the ones burying their heads in the sand about where they actually came from, and they were still very, very strict on their religious beliefs. Like they were at war over it. So I found that imagine if it was like we were trying to save those people.
Yeah.
And trying to get them back, how hard that would be. Whereas the Incarans were kind of just like,
Okay.
yeah, they were totally down for
Whatever
it.
you say, Colonel.
But that's like when we with the Teal'c as well. When we first met them, and they come out and was what's the old mate's name? Nareem was saying to Carter, you believe in angels and that sort of thing. Like, and then
you don't know how to use bed sheets. Shut up.
Yeah. And then I imagine them if we were in trouble as a Tari, and then the Teal'c said, "Oh yeah, we'll find you a planet that you can live on," and they take us there, and we're like, "Oh, thank you so much." We spend a month building all these new cities, and then something comes and attacks us. We'd be like, "Oi, Nareem, you said this planet was all right. Like, what are you doing? You know better than us because you're more technologically advanced. You know this shit."
You were the one that scouted the planet and said it was safe.
But we'd fight our own battles, I would feel.
That's true.
But you'd expect them to help if they put you in that situation.
Yeah, Jack would be like, okay, well, give us some of your phase weapons and your big ion cannons and stuff to help us protect this planet.
We'll take care of this shit.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of did. We gave him a Naquita bomb.
Yeah.
We took our Naquita generator back and turned it into a bomb.
Yeah. They didn't set it on loop.
They didn't do shit. They were going to trust the blind people to turn a Naquita generator into a bomb.
I want to talk about the Gadmir because they seem like a pretty cool race. 10,000 year civilization.
Yeah, didn't they look awesome?
They look cool. And
reminded me of remember Frieza from Dragon Ball Z?
Didn't watch it.
Oh god.
Didn't watch it.
Anime? No thanks.
Just when I think I can be in the same room with you.
No. Think again, mate.
So, usually if, only judging by Earth, but if you're a bipedal race, it's unusual to have a tail like that.
A what race?
Like if you're standing on two legs.
Right.
That's bipedal. 2 legs means bipedal.
Right.
Bi means 2, pedal means leg.
Okay, well that's what I'm asking. Thank you.
Just look it up later.
It's pretty common knowledge, but okay.
I also learnt this right now.
Yeah. Calm down, you fucking
Would
nerds.
Is that a tail or a huge dick? Is what I'm trying to say.
I hope it's the latter.
There we go.
Matty nearly spat up his coffee.
It took us half an hour, but we got to a dick joke.
I was like, wow, Brendan's having a really sort of, scientific, interesting, anthropological conversation here. No, it's a dick joke.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
I mean, we don't know.
Is that your point that you're getting at?
Yeah. Obviously.
Right.
So whenever you hear Brendan go, I want to talk about biology for a second. Oh, we know where this is going.
The bipedal species that was on that ship, how big were their dicks?
Just asking the hard questions
Yeah,
no one else wants to
The
ask.
real shit that people want to know.
Well, I mean, if it was a dick, congratulations to that species.
Absolutely.
You know?
And no
Dick
wonder
on
they,
the back.
No wonder they
Avatar.
need to.
Hey.
Oh, mate, their girth shits all over the avatars. Like that's,
It does.
you know, that, and it's all about girth. So,
How would it
Absolutely.
work if you had a schlong on your back?
Oh, I reckon just like normal.
Yeah, how's it any different?
Except you don't not looking at him, you're just backing up, cowgirl style.
That's usually how it is.
How is that any different to?
To a normal Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
like-
Except the guys getting
You can
Yeah.
like
On
it's
the front.
Yeah, the guy can lay down and play PlayStation. While
the guy can be starfish.
yeah.
yeah, and would be. Let's be honest. Wouldn't do the work if we didn't have to.
Oh wow.
Speaking of giant spanners,
Oh yeah.
there was one in this episode. Just at the bottom of the stairs, just standing there looking at the spanner, just moving it around like, oh,
Yeah.
check this out, this spanner, yeah, all right.
I'm glad you're
Nodding
keeping an
to
eye
each
on
other.
that. Wait till we get to
Yeah.
the episode where they're cradling it like it's a baby.
Right.
That's to me. I think that's when the higher ups were like, okay, you can retire the spanner now.
Yeah.
I think that's enough. That's enough.
We've done everything we can with that spanner.
Yeah, you flogged it. Flogged it to death.
I'd love to see it in a top pocket or something. Just like a pen.
I know we were saying before that O'Neill was, considering things maybe more than he ever has before, but him and Lotan, I feel like there was just there's moments of just complete disregard for other human life, whether on an individual or a mass scale. Like when they're like, you're going to kill these people. We've transported them to this planet. Lotan, you're going to just kill them all. He's like, wow. That is unfortunate. Yeah. It's like
I'm not programmed to care about that.
I'm not programmed to give a shit.
It's like having a conversation with Brendan.
Yeah. I'm not programmed for that.
Yeah, I'm not programmed to give a shit.
Gooey show of emotion.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go retire to my little laser bed and just have shit
that was
happen.
random.
It's his own private little rave. But then O'Neill, when tell me, Daniel's not up on that ship, he's up on that ship, and then just like Teal'c going, he made his choice, Jack. And Jack's like, yep, boom, presses the button,
Yeah.
like.
Actually, that making that point brings up a premise that I wanted to bring up with you guys to see if this is actually true. Now, I got some proof. I think that Teal'c secretly wants Daniel to die in a strange and unusual way.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of his kink.
Well, I mean, he hasn't got Shara to torture anymore.
No, well, that's it.
So, he's got to finish off that family.
And mainly with Daniel's made his choice, and I did not disagree with him because that'd be an awesome way to go. Getting blown up in an alien ship.
I just think that Teal'c does not give a shit about Daniel Jackson.
No, right?
I think he only saves him because SG1 or O'Neill would be upset with him if he doesn't.
Remember in Broca Divide?
Yes.
Where he got kidnapped by the Neanderthal? He looked for a total of 3 seconds
Yeah.
Well, I
before
think-
he
barely-
left him for dead.
Yeah.
He
And then we find out, 2 seasons later, that he's like one of the great trackers in the galaxy. Now, I know we've said this show before. We can't blame past episodes for future episodes retconning. But it's like, look, I gave it a good look.
Totally.
What about that mud? There's footprints in the mud. That's an animal.
Yeah, I didn't see him. I know exactly where he went, but I didn't
Yeah.
see him.
In,
I reckon he's pissed because it really is established here that it's like when they're talking, Teal'c didn't give Daniel an order. Like neither of them share a rank, so really neither of them outranks the other.
Yeah.
So I think Teal'c's just like,
Eh.
how can I be equal to this little piece of shit?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's maybe in his head, he's like, if Daniel dies and we get a new team member, surely I'll outrank whoever that is, and I'll be able to order them around. Because he probably misses being a first prime. He's like, he wants underlings.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
So I'm happy to rub.
Yeah.
In Crystal Skull, when Daniel's staring into the skull, bursting out with radiation and neutrinos, Teal'c's like, watch this shit, and just zats the skull. Like, for all he knew, that could have exploded in Daniel's face.
Oh, I bet you he was wishing it
Yeah,
did.
he's like,
That's what I mean. Like,
I've got
this
a
could-
symbiote that'll heal me if I get a bit
Yeah.
better. I'll be
This is going to be awesome.
Or when he
won't die.
ran back to find him, and then Daniel's like, Teal'c, and he turns around, he's like, okay, just look dazed and confused.
Pretend you can't see him.
I have this strange feeling. What is it? Daniel's like, I'm right in front of you. Yeah, nothing, I guess.
Now,
Forever and a day, though,
he killed his
he
wife.
killed Shara because
Good move.
he's like, ribbon device, seen that 1,000 times. That's not a way to go. But then leaving him for mortally wounded in Serpent's Lair in Chlorel's Hatak, and then SGC leave him for dead. They get in the Death Gliders. You can just imagine Teal'c going, "Oh, that was hot."
Teal'c's like,
I hope Hammond has the self-destruct on when we get home.
the scene you miss is like Teal'c going, so if Daniel's gone, can Braytac join us? Or can he be the fourth member? Or
Absolutely.
Now, Teal'c didn't really have a lot to do in this episode, but as a standard,
Hope that Daniel would be dead.
yeah.
Somehow.
Sorry to interrupt. What you said there, Braytech joining. I just imagine them having a conversation with each other, and Braytech's like, "Teal'c, can you get me a job?"
Get us in, bro. I'm trying,
Teal'c's
Braytac.
like, I'm trying to kill Jenny Jackson in the most.
I am a man of
Secret way
126. I need a pension.
But he's also 126. I can wait a while. If it's going to take a while to kill him off, I can wait. What's an extra year? I do think that you just say that's his kink. Like, imagine that, like, Hammond, we already know, like, how he gets his rocks off is by turning on the self-destruct and just wait until that clock ticks down, turning it off for, like, 1 second and just fully getting off to it. Teal'c's thing is that he keeps trying to kill Daniel. It's probably a little bit like the
No, but it's
Road...
like a game. Like, it has to be sweet.
It's like Batman versus the Joker.
Yeah. Or like the
Has to be a
Roadrunner
sweet
and the Coyote. Like, was it in Family Guy or... And the coyote actually kills the Roadrunner, and then his life turns to shit because he's got no meaning.
Nothing to do
like he's
with
at
the rest of
home
his
and he's
life.
upset and he's abusing his wife. He's yelling at his kids and
and then he tries to commit suicide. He keeps failing at that as well.
So Daniel, I think, doesn't really want to kill Daniel, but he wants to keep trying to kill Daniel. So maybe that's his thing. And one day him and Hammond will sit down and just
needs
talk
to be
about
worthy of a good wank. That was so hot.
Just
See how his head exploded? Oh, amazing.
We're going to go into a deep state of Kelmarine and think about all the times I've tried to kill you.
It's like, is that me or is that my symbiote I'm stroking? I can't tell. Oh, that's too far? Come on.
No, I'm just imagining it. Like
It's great. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hang on, no, this one,
Daniel's kink.
This
That's
one's all
hot.
slimy and sticky before it all happens. So yeah, that's definitely the symbiote. Okay.
Well, he's a Jaffa.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, back to what you were
So
saying.
Teal'c didn't have a lot to do in this episode, which is pretty standard, but I think Christopher Judge was MVP behind the scenes on this episode. So I just want to run through a few bits for you. Wheel in the piano, boys!
Oh, dear.
Graham, how are you, mate?
Jesus, is that the same size piano? That's huge.
That's what she said.
Smaller size door.
Yeah, I think you're right. It looks like maybe a baby grand piano this time. Yeah, that's interesting.
Easier to haul up the stairs.
So, in the scene where Daniel Jackson and the robot Lotan are wandering down the tree-lined avenue, careful viewers will see that they sneak the odd look back along the path they've just walked down. The looks weren't for dramatic effect, they were for self-preservation. To everyone's total amazement, a bear just came lumbering out of the woods as we started shooting.
Holy shit.
Gasped the director. Most of us stayed pretty calm. We sent the grips out to coax it away. But our resident tough guy...
The grip.
Yeah.
That's got to be a joke.
lowest paid guys on the set.
Jesus.
Yeah. But our resident tough guy, Christopher Judge, who is a bit of an urban alien and doesn't get to see much wildlife, took to his trailer and wouldn't come out.
Oh.
I thought he was going to say chased it off.
Yeah, so did I.
No, he ran and he was terrified and hid in his trailer and wouldn't come out until he knew it was gone. Michael and Brian, however, which is Daniel and Lotan, had to get on and do the scene, hence the shifty looks backwards every now and then to see if the bear was back.
Wow.
Damn.
Jesus.
And
Well,
then,
the bear was obviously running away from the spaceship.
Yeah, that's true.
And in the commentary, they say when you see them walking down the aisle,
Graham, we're
we're done now.
Yeah,
Greg.
get out.
You can get.
Still good.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Just out of camera shot, there's about 6 grips just kind of just standing there, just as decoys, just to make sure the bear didn't come back.
Like rodeo clowns.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get mauled.
Just to protect the pretty actors.
Protect Shanksy.
Yeah.
I just like obviously, what do you say, Michael and Brian, they're just talking amongst themselves. It's like, oh, well, clearly there's a bear. I mean, I guess we don't have to work today.
Yeah.
And produce
It's clearly
guys,
unsafe.
we are on a time schedule.
We have a schedule to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
We
don't
got
care.
6 pages to film today, guys.
You will go out there and
those-
get mauled. We've
those-
got a premiere on Sunday night.
Your yellow contacts are only good for another 3 hours, so let's go. Let's keep going.
And then the other big one for Christopher Judge in this episode was from the audio commentary.
The Incaran homeworld has no Stargate.
For some odd reason, that line of Chris's lasted for show after show after show, and every time Chris would not have something to say in a scene, he would be sitting in the boardroom or something like this, and there'd be a silence, and he'd say, "The Incaran homeworld has no Stargate." It's still being used. Actually, the show that that we've just finished doing in year 5 has got another one. They're looking for that line. There are a number of those through the course of the years that we've been doing Stargate, where people will remember them. Mm-hmm. Another one that you will pick up on is harrower attacks.
That's right.
That's one of my favorites. That's coming up soon. The actual line, harrower attacks.
So how does he know that there's no gate on the Incaran homeworld?
Did they mention it at the start of the episode? That's why they couldn't find their way back, because didn't they say that the Incarans were taken by ship from their original planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then put into the Gua world,
They didn't
They have a
necessarily
rich
say-
history about what happened to their ancestors, these Incarans.
Yeah.
Like you were saying before, like no one else in the universe knows what happened before the Goa'uld, but these guys, they know it all, what happened to their ancestors.
And then there was that little cover-up line when Carter says, "Oh, well, they're blind, so they can't actually tell us where their homeworld is from using a star map." So it's like, oh, well, we can't find their home. We have no idea where it is.
Why don't they ask the bloody Gadmir where it is? Oh, they can't,
Yay!
Oh, why not?
because they're bicycle beings.
Bicycle?
And what's it called?
Bipedal.
Bipedal.
And bicycle beings, huge
What's-
dicks.
That's what you do. That's what you do on a bicycle.
They've got two wheels
bipedal.
for legs. Apparently, the original ending for this episode is Lotan actually blew the ship up. So, like, when he beamed up the Nakoda bomb at the end, and Daniel's like, that's exactly the opposite of what I wanted you to do. He was going to blow up the ship. He was going to beam Daniel back down and blow up the ship and choose to save the Ankarans and let the Gadmir...
Even though he's
be
terraformed
destroyed.
half the planet.
Yeah. And then Brad Wright was kind of like, let's find a happy ending.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do like that it all worked out so nicely.
Yeah. It's like,
Like,
oh.
usually that's not satisfying, but I was really satisfied with that.
Yeah. Because there was no real villain. It's like they were both equally,
Yeah.
Deserving.
like, yeah, you felt for both of them.
And
So
Except the fact that he stayed with the Incarans, I think that was unnecessary. I think it'd be better if he just went back into his ship. That's for me, anyway.
You wanted him to die.
I'd love to see him die. Not even see, but just know that he's dead.
My life would be better.
Like, it'd be great if they went, "Oh, you're an Incaran now. You can stay with us." And he's like, "No,
Nah.
I'm happy. I'm
happy to die.
happy. I'd rather be dead.
I don't want to hang around you, Hadrazar.
I don't want to become blind."
Although, what do they say? In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Like, he could
Yeah.
go back to the Incaran world. And
Oh,
like,
bring out the pan flute for that one.
and he's like the only one that can see properly. He's like, I'm going to rule these motherfuckers. And
Yeah.
I'm like 2 days old.
Yeah.
I just found out about this place.
Yeah, I
And
just
I am the
become
king.
self-aware like Skynet.
Yeah.
The shit's going down.
I hope the Incaran homeworld is like pretty technologically advanced because he's gonna have a hard time like making repairs if he gets damaged at any point down the track.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they were pretty, although they're not advanced, like, they were pretty hard workers. They built all that in a month. Like, that
Oh,
was-
you
that
should
was-
come back in a year and see what we have done. Fuck that. Why would I come
Never
back?
coming
Well, I
back.
mean, you didn't get close enough to see it, but I mean, imagine like a blind carpenter. Imagine the kind of cuts he's making in all that wood.
And it's on the piss.
Like,
Like the
yeah.
whole building's
Yeah.
off to like Leaning Tower of
Yeah.
Pisa. Nah, looks good, mate.
And you didn't
Killing it.
You didn't
How
see,
does that look? I'm not sure. It feels good.
You didn't see like the 40 like Ankaran labor workers with like missing thumbs and all that kind of stuff because they just cut them on nails, put through their palms and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's like the Prestige, how he has all those blind guys stage hands.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? Doesn't make any sense. Just pay them more and don't say anything.
Yeah.
All right.
If you say anything, I'll sack you.
Like, how do you get so many blind people to work for you? I do find it funny how Daniel is trying to manipulate this robot by saying, well, are you performing your true function? Because he knew that would get at him.
Yeah.
But I don't get it. If he's a robot, how can he think about that? Oh, yeah, I'm going to change my mind. Well, you're not programmed to.
No,
Well-
because he's given him an alternate option. He's like, oh, yeah, based on that, I need to follow my programming. It's like a another if and.
It was like a reverse Ultron in a way, as far as he was in the movie. It's like
that sounds dirty.
Ooh,
Hey,
reverse
you
Ultron.
want to try a reverse Ultron?
Maybe that's what the
Yeah.
big dick aliens
That's
do.
what the Gadmirs do.
Gadmirs before. What are you doing? Reverse Ultron. Oh, that's my favourite. Is it like his programming was
Watching
to?
Careful, or you might lose a hand. Like
Was it he was programmed to save the Earth, and then when he becomes self-aware in like 3 seconds, he's like, "Oh, save the Earth." That actually means kill the humans because they're the worst thing happening to this planet. So
Yeah.
I like that Daniel did that, but he did that to Jack too. Like that was his whole point in this episode, was to like read between the lines. And Jack's like, "Are you disobeying me?" Or someone's like, "Are you disobeying your orders?" He's like, "Technically, no." He did tell me not to go on the ship, but by going on the ship, I'm also finding him another solution. So not really doing the wrong thing. And then it's like, hey, so this is your protocol, but well, if you look around, your actual protocol would be to not go to your protocol.
Yeah,
if you think about it, the robot's head blows up
Yeah,
like a fembot.
he kind of short-circuited him, eh?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm
Twitch.
what? He didn't understand himself.
Yeah, I do like it at the end there how they beamed all the Incarans up, and it kind of fades out as the ship's taking off. There's all these weird claws and stuff. I'm like, oh, that kind of looks a little bit evil. Just thinking after that, imagine if the robot was just catfishing Daniel the entire time.
Yeah. Beat him up into the area that has all the like toxic atmosphere, and all the Incarans just
drop
there,
him
just
in there.
choking to death.
I was just thinking, like, picks him up, takes him into a high orbit, waits till SG-1 comes down, goes back, keeps terraforming, and then just uses the Incarans as fertilizer.
Yeah, War of the World stuff.
Uses them as fuel.
Well, not only that, but we only know the Gadmir as being a peaceful, loving society because that's what they told us.
Yeah.
Their ship told us how awesome they were, and Daniel's like, "Hey, they're peaceful. Can't kill them as well."
Yeah.
So
They're peaceful because they murdered every other being on their planet.
Yeah.
So there's got
Goa'uld
no
are
one
the
to fight
same.
against.
If you read Goa'uld history, they're these benevolent gods,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that allow their followers to be in the presence of their god.
yeah, like just imagine him like flying up. And then SG-1 go, well, our job here's done. They get back through the Stargate. They come back in a year to check up on them. And the whole thing's just like on fire. There's these weird big-dicked aliens walking around. Just having sex all over the place.
And they're using
Reverse Ultroning it everywhere.
and they're using the Ankarans as sex slaves, just split them in half.
And
with
then
those
she won't
big
come back and
dicks.
go, what? I thought you were peaceful. And they're like, we lied, obviously.
No, this is
you
peace
can't
to
breathe
us.
here. Get the f***
You
out.
fell for that? Oh, you idiot. Well, Stargate would stay there, obviously.
Sword swallowers.
Yeah, I found that really strange. And they're like, oh, the Scorched, the fire curtain mowing thing. They're like, oh, well, the Stargate's not going to survive. And I'm like, would it though? Like, that's a pretty...
It survived an asteroid hit.
Yeah.
It was buried, but it didn't break.
Well, I mean, if there's enough power, the Nakoda in the Stargate can explode.
Yeah.
So if it's kind of like mowing over a rock and flicking you in the leg. Like, if you mow over the Stargate, it could explode.
I wonder if the writers of this episode intended it to be like compared to mowing as much as what we have in this podcast.
Could only wish.
It's just your fetish.
It's your kink.
Oh, mate, you should see me when I'm mowing listening to our Stargate podcast. It's like, oh, my two worlds.
Take my clothes off.
He can do it handless. He just steers the mow with his dick. It's just like
That's our whippersnip.
Now look, I don't want to do it, but I know I have to because it's just so full.
Oh, shit.
The box.
That is a little frightening. Like, that sounds like you're in the sunken place. Like you've been trapped and encased in this dark, solitary confinement. there.
Echo
That's-
pitch, Maddie.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Oh, sure. The crazy version that's been locked up away from society for years.
Put the lotion on your skin.
That's actually low pitch, Matty. He's saying, box of shame.
Now, mind you, before you read that, I've actually got something in the room. Like, there's some pretty, there's some standard sort of gear in there from what we've seen from our patrons.
Yeah.
I don't know what else is in there. If we get to some bad ones, I just want you to know that I've got a little. Maybe I want to say a backwards gift for you. Like, it's a gift for you.
Have
I
you
think
added one
it's,
yet? Have you even added one to the box?
yeah,
of shame yet?
I have. Yeah, I feel
okay.
like Holly did one up to me.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we were both
Absolutely.
going along the same sort of lines, but she added like 7 different layers to that from a couple
Like,
of
Mitch
weeks
just
ago.
had me blowing you. That was it.
Just took a picture of it.
Oh yeah, there was some. Oh mate, if you don't photograph it, what's the point?
Didn't happen.
That's true. Yeah, that was the first one to bring up like Firefly and anything Joss related. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So I've got something for you. If ever anything gets really bad,
there's my dream
we
words
feel a
for
little
you,
sad
Mitch.
for you. I've got a little gift for you, but maybe it's also a backwards joke. As
Don't
well
forget
at the
that
same
we got to
time, so-
listen to Star Trek after that.
is that
So
like-
that'll be too
don't
nice.
feel too
Yeah.
bad.
Is that like Russell Crowe's in Swallow My Gift or?
Yeah.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
So it's just
What
a
do you
real,
do?
Tofog.
so it's just a real quickie. Like I
Have
wouldn't.
you heard that song?
No.
30 Odd Foot of Grunt, his band. It's called Has like big. I don't know if it was ever their biggest hit, but it's certainly the one we remember the most. And the song
Oh, it's
is
got
called
1,200 listens.
Yeah, the song is called "Swallow My Gift."
Yeah.
Wow.
So I
Yeah.
mentioned that because I just thought it was ubiquitous, but obviously not. So.
No,
Yeah, no, it's not a...
It's one we haven't got it here. Oh,
it's not on the playlist. No.
Big wide world, da-na-na-na-na-na. Swallow my gift, and then like he's back. Swallow my gift. It's like, how is this a thing?
Well, what do you expect
bring
from
that
30
back?
odd foot of grunt?
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Tofog.
So yeah, I'm not really, overly excited about this one, but I just figured I had to because we had so much stuff in the
Yeah,
box of
absolutely.
shame. So it's just a quickie. The guy that played Lotan, Brian Markinson.
Hang on, you got to read it first.
Oh, I thought you guys wanted me to do it at the end.
Yeah, sure.
One of each.
Not for this little one.
That's pretty
Not for
full.
This little one. So Brian Markinson, he's actually done. He was in every single modern age Star Trek. Well, the good ones from the '90s. So he did an episode of Next Generation. He did 2 episodes of Voyager, and he did an episode of DS9.
Yeah, right.
So I just thought that was worth mentioning. Wouldn't normally
Who
do a
was
box of
he in
shame.
Voyager? No one memorable.
He was, I think season 1 or season 2 when they get captured by the Vidians. He's Lieutenant Durst.
7 of 9 wasn't in it.
No, it's
No,
the one where
don't
B'Elanna. One where B'Elanna gets split into like
Oh,
full
she
Klingon
sure
and
did.
half
By
Klingon.
the-
Sounds sexy.
It was kind of interesting. He
By the
played
Gadmir.
he played two characters in one episode. So he played like a Starfleet officer, but then he also played one of the aliens that captured them was going to harvest their organs. So the twist at the end of the episode is he killed the alien him, killed the human him, and like skinned him and wore his face as skin.
Oh,
so they were
spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's from-
I might
'cause
watch
you'll be
that one
watching
day.
oh yeah, you're definitely going to watch that episode from 20 years ago.
And remember it.
I'm definitely
Yeah.
going to watch that show.
Yeah,
One for the
General.
kiddies.
One of those pivotal Star Trek episodes. All right, so let's do it.
Box of shame.
Here we go.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's a big one. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
That's
Handwritten.
mine again.
Okay. Is this really yours? Because I tell
No.
you what, that's some very ladylike handwriting. Who wrote that?
No, it's Mitch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some lovely penmanship.
Thank you. I'm an excellent writer.
All right,
I
let's hear
said
it.
penmanship, not what you write. It's just how you write it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this. Oh, what are the other? This is the. That sounds like I made it up. Then I literally just pulled.
You're
this
supposed
out.
to just read it without.
Well, no, just Mitch obviously mentioned that he wrote something, and then that's the one.
Because
that I
he put it
pulled
on
out.
top, obviously.
Again, that's not for the first time.
So
Yeah.
do you want me to read this one, or should I do a different one?
Well, I feel
Well,
like
let's do 2.
yeah, we do.
Okay.
I do too because
All right,
I
let's
know
get
that
this
I
in
know that like I
Yes,
just
yes.
thought an easy target for you is what it is, and then Holly ended up just completely outdoing what I did.
right,
So
let's-
it's nothing this one. So yeah, definitely
Yeah,
do
I'm
too.
so glad the fandom are finally starting to see through the bullshit veil of Joss Whedon writing his strong female characters, and that he's in fact a despicable misogynist monster.
Yeah, good, good
wow.
call, Maddie.
Matty,
That's
why
cool,
do you
Matty.
do that?
Because it was written by a despicable misogynist monster.
I feel like you found it harder to say that than I've got full-blown AIDS.
Yeah, obviously.
It's easy to come out with the AIDS bit.
Yeah, I mean,
I've said it before.
I mean, it's 2018. AIDS isn't a death sentence anymore.
Yeah.
Being a misogynist is, though. Okay,
Well.
so...
Trump.
You get you elected.
Yeah,
these days.
and then...
Oh, Weinstein.
Yeah, he's gonna off himself any week.
Oh, he's gone, yeah.
Yeah, he's already bought the gun. Okay, so I've got another one here. So this is Danny from Patreon.
Another one from Danny.
Oh,
Oh, have we done one
wonder
from Danny? Have we?
Yeah.
yeah, we might have to do 3 of them.
Oh. Not for that tiny Durst comment. Jadzia Dax was nothing but a nympho. Well, that's true. With root beer for brains. Oh no, I can't say this one because it'll be
Well, you have to.
It'll be a spoiler for Brendan when he watches Deep Space Nine, though.
That's fine.
Take your earphones off.
He'll listen back to it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's all good.
Oh no.
I've read it already.
Oh yeah. Okay, fair enough. They couldn't kill her soon enough. I hope she burns in the fire caves for all eternity. That's me. Jazzy is my favourite character from that show.
Then
I
why
think
do
that's
you-
the point.
Why do you think that if she's your favourite character?
I don't know.
I don't know. Why did I bring this concept up?
Nothing.
I didn't think people would be this creative. I just thought they'd be like, "Oh, I'm dumb. I like sucking dick." Like that's what I thought. And I'm like, I'm fine with that. But
I'm sucking dick.
Not wishing death to my favourite character.
yeah, that's rough.
Thanks, Danny. That's a good one. You really got him.
Well done, Danny.
Oh, that hurt.
She's alive in real life, mate.
Oh, I know. She's her death still hurts. So I'd like to say that is
She moved to a better show. Let's face it.
yeah, and then got written out of that one as well. God damn it.
All right, that's episode 75 of Get Into Geek. Scorched Earth. We'll be back next week to talk Beneath the Surface, and that'll be on the next Stargate SG-1.
On the next Stargate SG-1.
Is there a problem here? Stay out of this.
Why would O'Neill turn against his own team?
This is not right. The two of you are friends on here. Stay out of it.
Because someone's erased their memories.
It's my honor to serve.
Transform them into slave laborers.
Stop telling us.
And are keeping them hostage beneath an icy planet.
We're not out there, sir.
In a
Now,
rape
the more
dungeon.
they remember,
I had this dream. You were in it.
Me?
the closer they get to
You
the
were there,
truth.
you
I can
were
see
there.
how you wouldn't want outsiders to know about the slave labor force you keep underground.
But will someone wipe them out forever?
You're no longer of any use to me.
Richard Dean Anderson stars on the next Stargate SG-1.
Well, that was a real breakdown of that episode.
Yeah,
Step by
almost as
step.
boring as the episode.
We could almost skip it after that.
Well, you also, you already said that you might be sick next week, so
Oh,
Yeah.
whoops! Oh no, I
Conveniently.
meant the week after next. Sorry.
Yeah.
Is this another Core Eye? Do I have to not watch this one?
No, Beneath the Surface is good.
It goes against everything you're just talking about.
No. I meant the week after Beneath the Surface. I got my confused. I was
What's
looking at
after
my
that?
notes. Point of no return.
Oh, okay.
That one I might be sick for, or it'll make me sick. One of the two.
Oh, yeah. I don't know yet. Well, until then, you can check out all of our old podcasts on the podcasting channels. Just search Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast. Hit us up on the socials, like, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or drop us a line on getintogate@gmail.com. You can also support the show and join the show on many new levels. Hit up patreon.com/getintogate.
Absolutely.
Contribute to the box of shame. There, you've sort of seen the variations of standards.
No, it's full.
Good.
It's full.
Well,
Sorry, it's
it's
full.
never
If
said
you want a
full.
scorched earth, then jump on Patreon. Jump on a Patreon.
Nailed it, mate.
There's a Rhys and I've scorched some earth in our own podcast that we did.
That's true, actually. Yeah, not a bad place to tease the podcast, actually, because it is an exclusive
Well, wait
to
till you hear it.
Patreon. Well, you're right, actually, because at this point, I actually haven't listened to it yet. Maddie has.
Remember the other week when you said Brendan said something so bad we were going to burn down the studio?
Yeah.
I think
That's the entire podcast.
Yeah, there's
I
40
think-
minutes of that.
I think the reason Brendan had to move is because after that podcast he burned his house down. So
You should wait for the next podcast.
oh, Jesus.
It's a little bit
You'd
looser.
have to sacrifice your children after that one.
Well, if that doesn't get you having a listen to that, then nothing will. So, yeah, check that out. Patreon.com/getintogate. And a big thanks to everyone who has jumped on already. We will be back next week to talk Beneath the Surface, and we've sold it up and pitched it very well. So, have fun with that Rhys in the next 7 days. We'll catch you next weekend for more Stargate Sundays with Get Into Geek.
GetIntoGeek.com.